What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Classic Octane. I am Taylor. Today we're going to be working on my own bike, but I wanted to show you this one real quick because the customer is going to come pick it up tomorrow. So this is the 7-day CB550 I built. I'll throw a playlist up right now if you guys haven't seen it before, but it's changed a little bit. So the customer had me change out to an English toffee seat, change the rear tail light to one of our LED strips, and then if you just notice that the flashers just blinked, that's because I also did a full M-Unit Blue, so the Bluetooth version of the Moto Gadget M-Unit install on this bike. And there is going to be a full video coming, or it might already be out, just depending on my upload schedule, which video comes out first, of the how-to video of walking through every step of switching this over to an M-Unit. The reason it just flashed is because, like I mentioned, this is the blue version, meaning it has Bluetooth. So it just picked up my phone in my pocket, unlocked the bike for me, and now I can actually get on the bike and ride it without having to insert a key. It's completely keyless start. There is the backup of putting the key in there as well if you don't have your phone on you or you don't want to use the Bluetooth or whatever, but just one of those cool functions that the Moto Gadget M-Unit has. So if you haven't checked out that video, one, it's either up right now and I'll throw a link to it, or keep an eye out in the next couple of days and that will be up. But let's get to the meat of this video, which is my KZ750. So I've been riding this bike quite a bit. This is my 78 KZ750 Scrambler, if you're not familiar with it. Built this on the channel last year. This is my main rider. It's actually my only bike that I have that's currently registered and insured and kind of ready to ride. So I've been doing that, and last weekend it developed a little bit of an issue when I was out riding, to where I would be just cruising down a back road, whatever, and then all of a sudden it would cut out one cylinder and it would just go to, you know, it's only a twin, so it would just go to running on one cylinder and be really down on power, obviously, and kind of struggling. And then after about 20 seconds, it would sputter back into 2 cylinders and then run fine for another half hour. And it did that twice. So what I'm thinking is, because it's so intermittent, my gut tells me that it's probably just some junk that got into the carburetors and it just kind of blocked our jet for a little bit and then worked its way loose, or, you know, passed through or whatever, and it freed up, and then kind of another piece of junk got in there later on. So that's my gut, because when I built this bike, for whatever reason, I wasn't thinking very clearly, and I actually didn't run inline fuel filters. I highly recommend putting fuel filters on your classic motorcycles, because carbureted bikes are very susceptible to any kind of gunk or anything, and it's not uncommon for, you know, even newer gas stations to have gunk in their underground gas tanks that when you fill your tank can end up working its way through your fuel system and can cause some issues. So I'm hoping I can just pull the bowls off and clean them all out, get this thing back up and running. Second thing I want to try out is these glass beads that you fill the tires. You actually put 2 ounces in each tube, and it's supposed to kind of self-balance the tires, you know, while the bike is riding down the road. So the beads kind of like spread out and auto balance the tire without you having to have any external weights. And these big knobby tires are just a little bit out of balance when you get up to highway speeds. So for the cost of, you know, those little kits, I wanted to go ahead and give it a shot and tell you guys if it actually works or not. First thing I'm going to do is pull this right side bowl off. See what we're working with. If I need to pull the carbs all the way off, I can, but I'm thinking this should probably get us relatively close. So I got both the bowls off, gave them a good blowout with carb cleaner and compressed air. The way these bowls are designed is fuel kind of sits in this main cavity here, and there is a small hole through the center here that actually allows fuel to fill up this kind of center tube. And that's actually our main fuel source that goes up straight through the center of the carb. So that's pretty susceptible to being blocked. That being said, it didn't really seem like there was enough sediment in there to really block it. I mean, I don't know if we like sucked through a big chunk of something or not. So I'm on the fence about whether or not that actually is going to totally solve our problem, but it doesn't hurt. So those are clean now. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and swap over to different fuel lines with a N-line filter, like I mentioned earlier, kind of changing up the routing and stuff so that we still get good flow. Then after that, I'm gonna move on to, I think I'm gonna pull the spark plugs off and just kind of check them out, see what the mixture looks like, see if our jetting seems to be right. The bike, other than those little hiccups, runs great. I mean, it starts well, it's got plenty of power, it doesn't like fall off in the rev range or anything, so like I don't think the jets are wrong. If anything though, they might be a little bit on the rich side, and if they're rich enough, we actually could have been fouling out a spark plug, and that's what caused our issue. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna swap those fuel lines and then we'll move on. New fuel lines are done. Pulling the plugs out now. That's not bad at all. You guys can see that. Nice kind of tannish color to it. I mean, that looks like a pretty good mixture to me. If it was like caked in like black, you know, soot, that means it would be running super rich. But and that's really what you're looking for, kind of like a golden color on the electro. I mean, not bad. I mean, I'll pull the other side to make sure, but if it looks anything like this, then I think our mixture is pretty good, so we can move on. Checking the right side now. Yeah, about the same. I mean, a little amber color. So I'm not going to mess with our mixtures at all. I mean, the only other thing that could potentially cause the issue we're seeing is maybe like a coil kind of going in and out. But typically, in my experience, when coils start to go out, they go out when the bike is really warm, which the bike was warm. But anyone that I've ever had go out, once it's warm, it goes out and it kind of stays out. It stays not working until the bike cools down again. It's like if you have a bike that starts up great cold, runs great until like, 10-15 minutes into the ride, and then it starts missing and sputtering and stuff, and if you let the bike sit for a while, it fires right back up and runs great again. That's most likely a coil going bad. This symptom was not like that, since it kind of sputtered for 20 or 30 seconds and then came back and was fine for another half an hour. I don't have any reason to suspect it would be that. I'm just trying to think of what else could be one cylinder, it's got to be something that's one cylinder is wrong and the other one is like two separate components, if that makes sense. But my gut is still just pointing me towards it was just dirty carbs. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it good until we go for another ride and see if it happens again, see if it gives us any trouble. If it does start to give me trouble again, I want to kind of pull over immediately and try and determine which cylinder it is. I don't know which one it was, so it's a little bit harder to diagnose, but if I can, hopefully one, it's fixed. If it's not fixed, it happens again, we need to figure out which cylinder it is. That way we can focus on, one side or the other. We can start to swap components between one side and the other side, seeing if the fault follows that component, and that can help us kind of diagnose the issue. But again, getting way ahead of myself, we may have just fixed it with a simple carb blowout and clean. What do you say we move on to throwing those glass beads in the tires, and we can go see if that works. So the kit I got is from a company called Counteract. I have absolutely no affiliation with this company. This is not a sponsored video. I don't, they didn't reach out to me, anything like that. I literally just found this kit, thought it would be something interesting to try, and I figured I would bring you guys along. My thoughts are, if it works out well, I'd like to start running this in customers' tires, because one, it will make sure that the tires are nice and balanced. Two, I don't have to run any kind of external wheel weight. So on like painted wheels and stuff, I don't want to have to stick a wheel weight on there. So this gets rid of that. And then also, as the tire wears, in theory, these are supposed to kind of keep it balanced throughout the life of the tire. So I think this is a good bike to try it on, because I do have a little bit of vibration at highway speed, like I mentioned. So I'm hoping this will be the cure. So it comes with this little bottle. This is 2 ounces of glass beads in here. Another bag of 2-ounce glass beads comes with it. One's for one tire, one's for the other. I am going to read the instructions to verify that it is a full 2 ounces per tire. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. And the idea here is we pull out the valve stem, which looks like this, a valve core, and then that will give us open access right into the inside of the tube. Cut the end of this bottle off, put this little clear tube on there, and then kind of fill it up, I suppose. I mean, it seems to be that simple according to the directions. So I will throw a link to this in the description as well, assuming that this test ride goes well and this product actually seems like it works. If not, then I'm not going to bother linking you guys to a product that doesn't work well. So let's pull this valve core out and see if we can get all these glass beads in there. If you're not familiar with how this works, it comes with a little tool. Basically, there's just a little notch in it. You stick it in here until it clicks down, and then you can just unscrew it. And then it's going to let all the air out, obviously, so be ready for that. Alright, now we got our little bottle. Put the hose on the end. And in theory, we should be able to stick this side over. Oh, spilling beads everywhere. We're just going to pour them in. Kind of shaking this around, trying to get them all to go down in the hole. Alright. I'm not going to lie and say that 100% of them went into the tire, but a good amount of them did. Now they supply you with a different valve core, so I'm just going to utilize theirs to go back in. Screw it back down and we can fill this tire back full of air. Should be that simple. Glass beads are all in. I don't have time this afternoon to go for the test ride. So I'm going to go probably first thing in the morning. That'll be just a little bit later in this video. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. But I do want to go ahead and start it up and just kind of see how it runs, making sure it's running on 2 cylinders. Everything's good right now. Just so that hopefully we're ready to go for the first test ride. Put our choke on, turn our fuel on. We'll give it a little bit to fill the bowls up since they were just emptied out. Probably good enough. All right, key on. In here with the door shut for obvious reasons, but fired right up, definitely running on both cylinders. I'm gonna call that good enough for a test ride, so I'll see you guys first thing in the morning.
Well, morning. It's just after sunrise here in Texas. This is pretty much riding time for me because it's in the triple digits in the afternoon, and it's a little bit miserable to be out on a bike with full gear on. So we're going to go out this morning with a buddy of mine. He's on his way over now. We're going to test out 1, if the bike's running the way it's supposed to, and 2, let's see if these tire balancing beads actually do anything, and if they smooth out our ride at highway speeds on this thing. So let's do it. Alright, hopefully you guys can hear me. It's been a while since I tried out the motovlog setup, but we are heading out to the hill country. so far, fingers crossed, the bike seems to be running well. You know, hopefully it continues to do that. It didn't really develop the issue until probably well over an hour into the ride last weekend, so I'll keep you guys informed on if anything pops up or anything. But with the tire balancing beads, I mean, I've been cruising at 60. I don't know that I really can tell a difference. Maybe, you know what, maybe slightly. I feel like there's a little bit less vibration in the handlebars, but I mean, it's still a 45-year-old motorcycle on knobby tires on the street, so it's not gonna be like buttery smooth, but I'm gonna say yes, there is a slight improvement, but it's not like night and day, kind of like I was hoping for. But this bike's still plenty comfortable to ride on the street for, you know, a couple of hours at a time. That's my buddy up there. He just got that. It's a BMW GS. I think it's a 310 GS, something like that. I think it's his first street bike, but he's been really enjoying it. He's put like a couple thousand miles on it in the last month. So we've been out riding, and we're actually planning on trying to do some kind of longer adventure ride at some time in the not too distant future. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to try and take like this bike on that ride, or I wanted to kind of gauge you guys, see what your interest is on me potentially getting a more modern adventure style bike, maybe a bigger GS, like a, I don't know, 800cc, something like that, maybe a modern Triumph adventure bike, I don't know, something that's a little bit more modern that we can like take on some, you know, week or two long trips, kind of explore the country. Talking about doing like maybe the Pan America Trail, which goes all the way up to Canada, and I don't know, I want to get out and enjoy motorcycling, and I don't know if I want to have to worry about the motorcycle. You know, if I do that on a 40 or 50-year-old motorcycle, no matter how much prep I do, I can still end up having some kind of unforeseen issues with just old parts. So, I don't know, I want to leave a comment below if that's something you guys would be interested in watching, and I would just do like a moto vlog and make like a video of, you know, each day of the trip or something, and it'd be like a little mini series. So, just something I'm thinking about. But I'll keep riding, and I'll update you guys if anything changed with the bike. So far so good, just cruising these little back roads in the hill country. So if you guys are anywhere around Austin, this is probably a road you're familiar with. It's 1431 is the, you know, number of the road, name of the road, going west towards Marble Falls. Just a nice little 2-lane twisty road. There's a couple little like fun turnoffs of this road. In a minute we're gonna go turn off a road called Cow Creek, which just like winds over a creek back and forth and has a bunch of nice views and farms and stuff. There's a couple cattle guards you can get some air on if you're inclined to such a thing. But just out enjoying the ride. So far so good. Here she is. This is just like a small 2-lane road that you can blast down. Just got to be careful with oncoming cars. Some of these are a little blind, and then of course those cattle guards that'll sneak up on you. think this is the one I got air on last time. Go a little slower. One of the low water crossings I was talking about. Bottomed out a little on that one. So now we're to roughly the exact same point where the bike started having troubles last weekend, and she's still running great as of now. So I trust our issue is fixed and we won't have to stress about it anymore. But naturally, anytime you ride a bike the first time after, you know, it gave you issues, you're a little bit weary, but it's working out well. Just keep on cruising, enjoying the scenery. Uh-oh, people. It's starting to do it again. It's very intermittent, losing one cylinder. Right now it's fine. Right now it's on one. Hear it like popping in and out. So maybe it is a coil. Because like I mentioned earlier in the video, the coils, typically they start to show themselves having problems when the bike is warm or hot. I've been riding for probably an hour with no issues, and then now it's just starting to show up. That's the only thing I can think of. So I will probably preemptively order some new coils and just replace them both, because these are actually original to the bike as far as I know. Yeah, like right now we're on one cylinder. Oh, and now it's back to two. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and order some replacement coils, just because they probably need to be done anyway. Like I mentioned, they're original. Yeah, see, oh, we lost the cylinder completely. Oh, now it's back to two. So I'm gonna work on limping myself home, and I'll talk to you guys when I get back there. Well, we limped it home on one cylinder. It was a little bit sketch trying to go up the hills with the bike cutting in and out, but we made it work, got home safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and order those ignition coils. That's my best guess right now. You know, feel free to drop a comment if you guys think of something else that it might be. But since it only appears when the bike gets really hot, that's, you know, most likely going to be ignition coils. It was still coming in and out, which is a little bit weird, but I think that's, you know, the coil just starting to go bad and just kind of breaking up on that one cylinder. So these are original to the bike, which means they're, you know, 45 years old or close to it. So just peace of mind, I'm going to go ahead and order some to replace it, and then
I'll bring you guys along and we'll ride it again and see if that fixes it. I am super excited about adventure riding now that my buddy has a bike and I can go out, you know, on the weekends, and we want to like do a trip to Colorado. And so let me know what you guys would like to see as far as an adventure bike goes. Nothing too crazy, nothing too expensive, nothing too big. I want something in the like mid-range, you know, anywhere from 600 to 800, 900-ish cc's. I don't want like a big 1250 GS or something like that. I want something a little bit more light and nimble, but modern, so that I can focus on the ride and the adventure and, you know, creating a cool moto vlog adventure ride content, not necessarily worrying about the bike too much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'm sure this is a little bit longer video, so if you're still here, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.